All right. Hey, everybody. I'm so happy you could join me today. We will be doing the Adults and Teens bonus song today, so I'm really happy you could join me. So, I guess first things first, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the share button in the bottom corner of your screen. That way, everybody knows that you're learning your bonus piano song today. Okay. The second thing is if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I highly encourage you to do so. That way, if you need to play catch up for any lessons or bonus songs, you have that resource available to you. Okay. The third thing is if you haven't joined already, I have a private Facebook group for us to exchange videos and get tips, and you get one-on-one feedback from me as your teacher. It's called Encore Music Makers. So if you want to put that request in, just go ahead and hit the join button. Okay. And I guess the last thing is if you decide to go ahead and join our official class, you might want to order your book. If you look under the events tab here on the main Facebook page, you will see that the upcoming series for adults and teens beginning next month has the link to order your book if you want to go ahead and join us. So look into that, okay? All right, well, we are going to begin. The song that I have chosen for us adults and teens in my cohort here is called Morning Mood, okay? Here is a little preview of that. And it's a beautiful little tune, and you might recognize it. It is used so frequently in things like cartoons and commercials and things like that, that once we start playing it, it's going to just click in your brain. You'll be like, oh, I know that tune. This tune here, Morning Mood, comes from Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. One of his symphonic suites. It's called the Peer Gynt Suite. So as soon as we start playing it, I think you're going to recognize it. It'll be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on learning it, okay? Go ahead and pull out your music if you've got it, okay? If you don't have the music, you can join our private group, and under the Files tab, you'll find the copy of the music. And we're going to notice a few things here, okay? We are beginning in C position, okay? We will also notice that we have a time signature of 3/4 time, okay? So if you remember what time signatures we're indicating, it's 3 beats of measure, and the quarter note will be getting the beat, okay? We also have a very big long slur across the top, okay? So we're going to be playing nice and smoothly connected with the right hand. And our left hand is going to be playing a C major triad, or a C chord, right? We've learned that in our lesson. Okay, so let's see if we can play this Morning Mood, and we'll see how it goes, just so you can familiarize your ear to the tune and follow along in your music, okay? All right. So we are going to begin in C position, correct? We have our pinky right hand on G, finger 5, all the way down to your thumb right hand, finger 1 on middle C. I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3 notes to G below middle C and fan out my left hand, okay? Now, we will begin with this C major block chord in the left hand and a finger 5 pinky on G in the right, okay? So go ahead and listen. Follow along if you can in your music. I will count off. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120 Yeah, okay. So did you recognize it? I just think of like, Bugs Bunny or something, like just yawning and waking up from a long nap or something. It sounds like that, right? You just expect like the birds to start chirping and like all this morning stuff happening, right? So lucky you get to learn this tune, okay? Now there's a couple things in this piece that we haven't officially learned yet in lesson, but I can easily translate it to you in a way that's going to be easier to understand, okay? So I want you to look at your music, and I want you to notice at the top of the first line, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth measure, you have sort of like a stretching out of your fingers in the right hand, okay? It goes from G to E, G, but the fingers change, okay? Typically we would have a finger 5 pinky on a G, but they're having you move your hands just a little bit up one note so that you can reach your finger 5 on the subsequent A, the last measure of that line, okay? I'm going to sort of isolate that little section for the right hand so we can play that part together, okay? That's something of note, all right? So let's see if we can work on that a little bit. I'm going to switch to piano view. Okay. All right, so I'm going to count my measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, at the fifth measure, I see I have a C major triad in my left hand. And then I have in my right hand a G, right? That's typically my finger 5 pinky. So I'm going to start with it on my finger 5 pinky. But then notice the third going down, it says finger 2. But my 2 is on a D actually. So what I'm going to have to do is shift my D up a note to E so that my new fingers fan out and reach the A. Okay, let me say that one more time in case it doesn't make sense. Pinky 5 on G to start. We're going to move our finger 2 up a note to E. That way the fingers can reach the A that's coming up. Okay, so let's play those two measures, all right? Starting measure 5, top line of Morning Mood, we will begin. I will count off. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. There you go. Yeah, did you see how that happened? I'm going to do it a little bit more slowly so that we can really catch that movement, okay? Beginning measure 5 of Morning Mood, we will begin with a C major chord in the left hand and a finger 5 pinky on G, okay? 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. G, E, G, up to A, E, A. Okay, let's do that once more, okay? Starting with my pinky 5 on G. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. E, G, up to A, E, A. All right, very good. Yeah, that was a little tricky spot. So if you want, take your pencil and you can circle that spot, okay? That way you can work on it. Okay, now moving on. Line 2 is really interesting too because we have some interesting notes that we haven't learned yet, okay? Now, looking at line 2, you notice the box with the 7 in it, okay? That is telling you that's measure 7. So let's count over to 7, 8, 9, 10. Measure 10, okay? Do you see some notes that you haven't learned yet? Yeah, there's these notes that are sort of like 2 notes connected with a bar on top. Those are called 8th notes, okay? And the cool thing about 8th notes is like it's taking a quarter note and splitting it in half, okay? So instead of in the count that it takes for one beat, you'll play 2 eighth notes, right? So if we were to demonstrate that in clapping, this is what it would be like, okay? We basically would be going from quarter note clap, right? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we would split it into 2. So we'd go quarter, quarter, eighth note, quarter, quarter, eighth note. Does that make sense? Sometimes it can get confusing with the claps, but we might be able to demonstrate it better at the actual piano. Okay, so I want you to look at measure 10. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it starts there with a middle C with my right hand. Okay, and the left hand is just, it's a rest. It's a whole rest. So we don't actually play anything for the left hand. So let's play measures 10 and 11. Okay, that way the left hand has a chance to play that C chord. Okay, and let's see how it sounds together. Okay, I have my left hand in my C position. I'm going to play my C major chord, and then I'm going to begin with my C in the right hand at measure 10. Okay, so I will count off so you can follow along. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Okay, so you heard those double time eighth notes, right? So that's telling you that you're able to, in the same amount of time, the same amount of beats, do twice as many notes. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's see if we can play that little section again, okay? All right. I think this time I'm going to actually start at measure 9 so that we get the whole phrase there, okay? So we'll play 9, 10, and 11, okay? This is Morning Mood, line 2, starting at measure 9. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. C, eighth note, G. Yeah, there you go. All right, so that's what those eighth notes sound like, okay? Yeah, it happens twice there, doesn't it? So it happens at measure 11, 7, 8, 9, 10, no, measure 10, and then it happens again at measure 12, okay? So if you want to grab your pencil, you can give that a circle as well. Okay, I'm circling 10 and 12. Okay, now if you also noticed, the cool thing about this song is that it sort of combines the idea in the right hand melody line of having thirds, melodic thirds, and melodic seconds, okay? The beauty of that is that in our lesson plan, we've learned about melodic seconds and thirds already. So it's just a matter of making sure that we're reading it accurately on the treble staff, okay? So very good. We also had some really cool tied notes, right? Sort of scattered throughout at measure 7 and 8. Our left hand C chord is a tied note to the next measure, right? And it happens again at measure 15. And then it happens again at the very end of the piece. We're just playing a harmonic fifth, okay? So looking there for the very end, right? Yeah, so I liked this song. It had a little bit of new stuff in it, but not enough to overwhelm you. So that's a good thing, okay? Now, to close out this song, you notice the very end has sort of like this long line at the bottom. I'm going to show you on the camera. Okay, let's see. Right there. You see that long line at the very bottom at the end? Now that is something, it's a pedal notation. Now, those of us that do have pedals on our piano, if you're using an acoustic piano or a digital piano that is equipped with the proper pedal, that is referring to the damper pedal, and that is the one on the furthest right of your piano. Okay, so using your right foot, that would be the one that you put down. Okay, we'll get into pedaling a little bit further along in our piano lessons, but just for today, I wanted to just let you know what that was. Okay, so you're not wondering, well, what does that even mean? She didn't even talk about it. It's for the damper pedal. And the beauty of the damper pedal is that it's able to create this sort of like fluid feeling between our notes. It sustains all of the notes that are played when that pedal is depressed or when it's pressed down, okay? We're not going to necessarily worry too much about the pedal since a lot of us are practicing on keyboards. And keyboards don't have the equipment to create the sort of effect of a damper pedal. But that's okay, right? Because we can get the same idea by just holding our notes down for that entire tied note section, okay? All right, let's see if we can give this a try one more time, okay? I'm going to start at the very beginning. I'm going to take it a nice slow tempo, and I'm going to see if you can try your best to follow along. I will be doing note names as we play, okay, for the right hand melody. All right, everyone, let's give it a try. Okay, so I'm going to find my C position. Okay, there we are. I've got my left hand in my C major triad. And then my right hand, pinky finger 5, is on G to begin. Okay, let's take a nice count off, nice and slowly, and we will begin. All right, 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. G, A, D, C, D, E, G, A, D, C, D, E, G, A, G, A, B, A, G, A, D, C, to rest. G, A, D, C, D, E, D, E, G, A, D, C, D, E, D, E, G, A, G, A, E, A, G, A, D, C, to rest. G, A, D, C, 2, 3, left hand. G, A, D, C, 2, 3, A, 2, 3. Now we have a block chord here. 5th with a 3rd. 2, 3, and even quieter with the tie. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fantastic work, everybody. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. We've really created the sort of atmosphere that we can take that imagery that people use of the morning, right? Of blooming, things waking up, the birds are chirping, and emulate it here in our music, okay? Now take in mind, or keep in mind that the dynamic markings are going to be essential in order for this to create the correct mood, okay? The piano or the dynamic marking marked at the very beginning of this piece is a very good indicator of how we want this piece to sound. And it is telling us that we need it to be piano, okay? Think about this. Piano means playing it softly, right? Yeah, so if we're playing it too loud, do people like to be woken up in the morning with like banging music and crazy stuff? I highly doubt it. I certainly don't. Not before coffee anyway. So we really want to be able to translate that in our piano music, okay? So taking into consideration pressing lightly on the keys to create this piano soft music effect, okay? And that is continued through the entire piece here, okay? We've got piano all the way until the very end of the song, right? So looking at the last line, we have measures 19, 20, 21. At measure 21, you see the three letters D-I-M with a period. What do you think that stands for? This is like a challenge question. Those three letters stand for something called diminuendo. Okay, that's like a huge word. Italian, right? So diminuendo is a musical notation telling us that you are going to start at a certain volume. In this case, piano, already soft, right? But you're going to get even softer, right? Sort of like you're fading away. You want to give that effect to the end, right? So you're starting there with piano on that right hand E at measure 21, and you're going to get even softer as you get towards the end of the song, okay? Let's see if we can do that, okay? It's going to require a lot of control in your fingers, but I really think we can do this, okay? So I'm going to start there at 21, okay? Let's switch to piano view. 21, measure 21 of Morning Mood. The last line, I am in a C position, okay? Now, we're going to be beginning on a right hand finger 3 on E. And I'm going to hold it for 3 beats. But since it's got that diminuendo, I have to be extra controlled when I play the chord in measure 22. All right? Let's see if we can try that, okay? I will begin. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. 2, 3. Now soft. 2, 3, and even softer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's going to take some extra control, okay? So as you're working through this, keep in mind the dynamics. It's really going to make it the type of song that we want it to be, right? It's going to have to be, you start the day with positivity, right? And peace and joy. So make sure that that's being translated in the song, okay? Now, I think I'm going to play through it once more to give you guys a chance to play along with me, okay? So if you find yourself ready to give it a try, even if you're making wrong notes, that's okay, all right? That's why it's a bonus song. You can work on it all this week, and I'll ask early next week, and I'll see how it's going, okay? It's just to give yourself something to work on for this week, okay? All right, let's try it once more. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to get into my C position. I've got my right hand pinky on G, and then I have my left hand in C position for my C major chord, okay? All right, let's give it a try. I'm going to count off nice and slowly. Try to do your best to keep up. Even if it's just playing one hand, that is okay, all right? Let's count off. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Rest. that was so wonderful. Were you able to keep up with me? Even if you just did one hand or played a chord here and there, or just a melodic passage here and there, that is okay, right? You've never seen this before. You're not an expert. But I'm giving you the tools here to be able to figure this one out, okay? I'm so happy that you were able to join me today. I know it was kind of like a surprise thing for today, but I was just missing you guys, and I needed to figure out an excuse to come see you here on through the computer, right? So anywho, work hard on this one. See if you can get some practice days in for this week, and I'll check in with you guys next week, okay? Have a good one.